Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing another video featuring Mothers CMX 3-in-1 polish and coat. Little different today though, because we're testing it using non-ceramic based products. So polymer, sealants, waxes, those types of things. We're going to be using those today to test whether or not CMX 3-in-1 affects how they adhere to the paint, because it's designed to be a primer for ceramic, their own CMX spray coating, where you don't have to panel wipe. You can just polish, wipe it off, and go straight into an application. And we tested it with the proper coating, CarPro Sequartz Light, and it seemed to work fine with that. So this will be the next step of seeing whether or not you can use it to prep for, a polymer paint sealant or carnauba wax, something like that. There's not many true carnauba waxes out there anymore, but the more it's got in it, the better the test it's going to be. So yeah, you'll see there is two panels right now. The gray panel is the one with CMX, and there's a little strip at the top here where it's just pure CMX to see what it does on its own. Below, you've got some sections taped off, starting with Power Lock Plus, which is your very, very typical polymer sealant. Wow Contact 121, which is a very hydrophobic wax. Built Hammer Finis Wax, which is a very durable carnauba based wax. It's not pure carnauba. Sonax Polymer Net Shield, which is extremely hydrophobic and very, very much a polymer only. And Meguiars Ultimate Quick Wax, which is carnauba and polymer infused. Also very good. And the black panel is all the same things, but it has been prepped with a regular polish and hit with a panel wipe. So this would be your proper, as we know it, prep. Polish it off, panel wipe it, and then apply your sealant, coating, whatever you want to do. This is your standard, and we're comparing it to CMX to see if there's a difference. I'm not trying to knock these components down as fast as I can. I'm trying to see if there's a difference. So after washing them with a basic wash soap, which we for today are using Bathe Essence, see after a wash, is there a difference between the two panels? And then after that, we will step into Meguiars APC and just do a couple hits just to see if there's any difference. If there's no difference, then we can basically determine that polish and coat does not affect the bond of any real component. There's maybe some coatings out there with a much higher concentration. I haven't tested those yet. That might be another idea for a future video, but I'm not going to go there right away. But yeah, so today we're going to test this out, see how things go, and yeah, see how well this goes. All right. So the first thing I want to do is just check the baseline water behavior and see if the CMX panel is any different before we even put soap on it, and then we'll go from there with the wash soap and the APC. So let's get going. CMX on its own. And there's something there, but it's not nearly as intense as the other guys. And then we'll check our baseline. to me, I think that Contact 121 and Finis Wax are performing a little worse on the CMX panel. Polymer Net Shield and the Meguiars seem to be similar, but yeah, I would say it looks like these two guys are a little less hydrophobic on the Polish and Co panel. So that's interesting. We'll see how things go once we start washing it, but so far PowerLock Plus doesn't seem to be much different. Sonax seems to be roughly the same, and the Meguiars also seems to be the same. So let's start washing and see what happens. Okay, so washed everything down with Gyeon Bathe Essence, which again, neutral soap, no residue, no gloss enhancers, anything like that. Let's see if there's a difference. So, PowerLock Plus. Pretty close to me. It might be a little bit better on the black panel, but Contact 121 is definitely better on the black panel. So there seems to be, this guy seems to have interfered with its bond. Finis Wax. Very close, but I think it's better on the black panel. I'm trying not to let the black versus the gray change my mind, but it's close, but I'm giving it to the black panel. Polymer Net Shield. I want to say that's pretty even. It just seems like everything on the black panel looks a little better, but I'm just trying to determine whether or not it's because it's black. I'm going to give it a pass on Sonax. Meguiars. I'm going to say those are even as well. And this is on the CMX up top. You can tell it didn't put anything lasting on the panel. I should also clarify, both of these panels have cured for 2 weeks in the garage, so definitely nothing else affecting them besides the products underneath. They've cured for more than enough time. But we're gonna go into the APC now and see if there's any differences. Okay, ACCC is on. It was wiped in using the wash mitt, so nice and gentle still. Let's see. It's on the paint. Let's rinse it and see if there's any differences. Okay, PowerLock. Still there, but not the tightest. Still there. About the same, I'd say about the same. It's definitely better on the black panel. Much. better. Finish wax. You know, it's performing well, but it's a toughie. I'm gonna give it to the black panel though. I know it's a slightly different angles because of the shape of this panel. It's got the curve in it. But yeah, I think it's better on the black panel. Sonax. I'm gonna call that pretty even. And then Meguiars. I'm gonna call that pretty even. There's a couple random spots that have failed on each section, so I'm gonna say it's pretty even. I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple more APC hits off camera, and then after a few I will let you know how many it was and we'll check the results. Okay, so I did another 3 hits of the APC, which I don't know if I mentioned is 10:1 concentration, so not straight, but your typical use case for doing an engine bay or some wheels and tires, and you know, if you got overspray on your paint, this would be a very typical scenario. So the only ones I'm really seeing any effect on is 121, Wawa's Contact 121, and the Meguiars. Everyone else seems pretty even. I want to say that Finis and Sonax are a little bit sharper on the black panel, the one that's been just polished and panel wiped, but it's so close and so hard to tell that I'm gonna say it's even. But Contact 121 is definitely failing with the CMX beneath it versus the one without. You can see the panels flooding. And here it is not. So that's a definite not compatible. Powerlock Plus, about the same. It is sheeting off a little faster on the black panel, but it's on a little bit of a steeper angle. So I'm gonna give it a tie. Meguiars. So it seems to be a little slower up here, but again, this one's at a steeper angle. So I'm gonna say it's fairly close. But yeah. Finis and Sonax are dead even as far as I'm concerned. And again, I think it's just the black paint that's spoiling it for me. But so there you go. Mothers CMX polish and coat is best left to probably ceramic infused products. And again, I would still be testing this myself before I did an entire car, especially if I bought something, you know, pricey, you know, like a Geon coating kit or something like that. You know, company like Geon makes their own coating primer if you wanted to be 100% sure, and they make all the prep products too. In this instance, with these products, I don't think it makes sense. It's either the same or worse, and you have to buy another product potentially in between. Now, you don't have to panel wipe after using CMX, and it does have some abrasives, so for the products it does work for, it's a time saver. But in this instance, if you were to use it for something like Contact 121, you would then have to go around panel wiping that thing, and I don't even know if panel wiping really would take off everything that it's leaving behind in one go. So now you're looking at potentially multiple hits, or, you know, Coles notes use a different polish. But yeah, interesting to see that it was compatible with some things and not others. You know, Wawa's 121 is not just pure carnauba, it has a bunch of stuff in it, but it does have very good beating. So to see a difference between the two is nice and telling, because people put Contact 121 in their car because of its beating. So if you're going to use this below it, why did you even bother? You could have used some other poorly beating product like PowerLock Plus, which doesn't seem to be affected. So yeah, good stuff. Interesting information on this one. Still a great product, I think, overall. Polish and coat. Just wouldn't be using for anything non-ceramic. And then again, I would be doing my own tests with each specific product, because you don't know 100%. It is only typically made for their spray coating, but I do know it works for Seaquartz Light. So good combo for Seaquartz Light, because that's a cheap coating. So you've got a time-saving polish and a time-saving coating to do it, you know, ceramic coat people's cars and not have to charge crazy amounts of money or use, you know, lots of time. But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.